Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to Azir, the Emperor of the Sands. So we've had like a lot of like random interactions with Azir, and like we've gone through a lot of the cinematics, you know, all of League lore and things like that. So we know kind of a little bit about Azir and everything, and like the whole events that have happened in Shurima. So this is going to be more of like a recap, and also of course we're going to listen to like his voice lines and fully dive into his character. How the reaction's going to work: if this is your first time here, we're going to take a look at his biography and story first. We'll move on to any cinematic trailers, take a look at the gameplay and things like that. We'll look at his skins, and then we'll finally end on with voice lines and the special interactions at the end. I feel like there's going to be a ton of like recapping here and things I'm going to remember because, you know, my memory isn't the best when it comes to reacting to all of these champions. So forgive me if I forget something here, but I know there's a lot to Azir and there's a lot that's happened to his character and him and all of Shurima together. So there's going to be a lot going on here. So let's start off with the biography. We have his quote here saying, "Shurima's once the glory of Runeterra. I will make it so again." That's a pretty badass quote, to be honest with you. I feel like that also says a lot about who he is as a leader and character, right? So role is mage, region Shurima, of course. Related champions, Nasus. Who do we got here? Sivir, Xerath? It's Xerath. And then Renekton, Talia, and Cassiopeia. And I actually have not reacted to any of these other champions, but I know they're all Shuriman, and I know like tiny bits and pieces about probably all of them. But I really could not tell you lore-wise like who all these people are, right? All right, and the paragraph says, Azir was a mortal emperor of Shurima in a far distant age, a proud man who stood at the cusp of immortality. His hubris saw him betrayed and murdered at the moment of his greatest triumph, but now millennia later he has been reborn as an ascended being of immense power. With his buried city risen from the sand, Azir seeks to restore Shurima to its former glory. Also very cool, unique design. You know, obviously it's giving off like the Greek god kind of, you know, like a lot of the Shuriman champions with Cassiopeia and, you know, Nasus, Renekton. It all gives off like old school, like Greek god kind of stuff, right? Thousands of years ago, the Shuriman Empire was a sprawling realm of vassal states conquered by powerful armies led by all but invincible warriors known as the Ascended. Ruled by an ambitious and power-hungry emperor, Shurima was the greatest realm of its day, a fertile land blessed by the power of the sun that shone from a great golden disk floating atop the temple at the heart of its capital. The youngest and least favored son of the emperor, Azir, was never destined for greatness. With so many siblings ahead of him, he would never be emperor. Most likely, he would take up a position in the priesthood or as governor of some backwater province. He was a slender, studious boy who spent more time perusing the texts collected in the great library of Nasus than training to fight under the stern tutelage of the ascended hero, Renekton. Okay, so there was already a library named after Nasus, and then Renekton was already like ahead of him in terms of like glory and stuff. Okay, so see, I'm getting the little dynamic here because I believe, I'm probably wrong, but I believe Nasus and Renekton are his brothers, right? Or is Nasus and Renekton brothers? We'll find out. Amid the twisting shelves of scrolls, books, and tablets, Azir met a young slave boy who visited the library almost every day in search of texts desired by his master. Slaves in Shurima were forbidden to take names, but as the two boys became friends, Azir broke that law and called his new friend Xerath, which means one who shares. He appointed Xerath, though he was careful never to endanger him by naming him publicly, as his personal slave, and the two boys shared their love of history by learning all they could of Shurima's past and its long legacy of ascended heroes. You know what sucks is I kind of already know, well, I do know, I don't know the full extent of everything, but I know Xerath is going to betray him later. I do recall that in the noggin here. While traveling with his father, brothers, and Renekton on the yearly tour of the Empire, the royal caravan stopped at a well-known oasis for the night. Azir and Xerath stole away in the middle of the night to draw the stars and add their own celestial maps to those they had studied in the Great Library. While they drew the patterns of constellations, the royal caravan was attacked by a cabal of assassins sent by the Emperor's enemies. One of the assassins found the two boys out in the desert and was poised to cut Azir's throat when Xerath intervened, throwing himself upon the assassin's back. In the ensuing melee, Azir freed his dagger and plunged it into his attacker's throat. Wow, well, talk about trauma, having to murder somebody at a young age already, right? But that's a bond right there, right? With Xerath saving his life. That's a huge bond that we're getting. Azir took up the dead man's sword and rushed back to the oasis, but by the time he returned, the assassins were already defeated. Renekton had protected the emperor and slain the attackers, but Azir's brothers were all dead. Azir told his father of Xerath's courage and asked him to reward the slave boy, but his words fell on deaf ears. In the emperor's eyes, the boy was a slave and beneath his notice, but Azir swore that one day he and Xerath would be brothers. The emperor returned to his capital with the 15-year-old Azir now his heir. Wow, how many brothers exactly did he have? And unleashed a merciless campaign of bloodshed against those he believed had sent the assassins. Shurima descended into years of paranoia and murder as the Emperor took revenge on any he suspected of treason. This is reminding me of like, I don't know, like Game of Thrones a little bit, with like the paranoia and just like, I guess, any tale of like whenever an assassin is sent after the king of a country or something, and then like the king becomes paranoid. Lord of the Rings a little bit too reminds me of. Though he was now heir to the throne, Azir's life yet hung by a thread. His father hated him, wishing he had died instead of his brothers, and the queen was still young enough to bear sons. Azir trained in combat, for the attack at the oasis had revealed how little he knew of the deadly arts. Renekton took up the task of teaching the growing prince, and under his aegis, Azir learned to wield sword and spear, to command warriors, and to read the ebb and flow of battle. So now he's actually learning all of these things, like combat and how to be a leader and stuff in battle. The young heir elevated Xerath, his only trusted confidant, and made him his right-hand man. To better console him, Azir tasked Xerath with seeking out knowledge wherever he could find it. Okay, so getting more knowledge, cool. Years passed, but the queen was never able to carry a child to term, every conceived infant perishing before it could be born. So long as the queen remained barren, Azir's life was relatively safe. Some around the court believed a curse was at work, and a few even whispered the young heir's name in connection with this, though Azir claimed innocence and even executed some who dared voice such accusations openly. Ooh. You know, they're not going into it there anymore, but I have like in the back of my mind, I have a theory that maybe like Xerath learned of something knowledge-wise and made it so the queen, he like did some sort of spell or something on the queen so she couldn't have any kids. I don't know. Just to like help out Azir. Theory. Just a random theory. Oh, but then the next paragraph literally says, eventually the queen bore a healthy son, but on the night of his birth, a terrible storm engulfed Shurima. The queen's chambers were struck again and again by powerful bolts of lightning and in subsequent blaze, but the queen and her newborn son were killed. It was said the emperor went mad with grief and took his own life upon hearing the news, but tales soon spread of how he and his guards had been found lying in pieces on the palace floor, their bodies little more than charred skeletons. Okay, so what about this? So was this Xerath's doing? Especially with the... I don't know how Xerath works. I know what he looks like in game, but these powerful bolts of lightning and stuff. You know what I mean? Isn't Xerath like a lightning kind of dude? I have no idea. Azir was shocked by their deaths, but the Empire needed a leader, and with Xerath at his side, he took control of Shurima as its emperor. Over the next decade, he expanded Shurima's borders and ruled with a harsh but just hand. He instituted reforms to better the lives of slaves and privately developed a plan to overturn millennia of tradition and eventually free them all. Oh, very nice. Very cool for Azir to like totally flip everything on their head. And, you know, since he had interactions with slaves, Xerath, you know, he understood and felt compassion and stuff for them. So yeah, he kept his plan secret even from Xerath, and the issue of slavery would prove to be a continual bone of contention between them. The empire had been built on the back of slavery, and many of the great noble houses depended on enforced labor for their vast wealth and power. Such monolithic institutions could not be overturned overnight, and Azir's plans would be undone were they to become common knowledge. Despite Azir's desire to name Xerath his brother, he could not do so until all Shurima's slaves were free. Through these years, Xerath protected Azir from his political rivals and guided the expansion of the empire. Azir married and fathered numerous children, some by wedlock, others by ill-advised liaisons with slaves and harem girls. Xerath stoked the emperor's grand vision of an empire greater than any the world had ever known. But to stand as ruler over the entire world, Xerath convinced Azir that he would need to be all but invincible, a god amongst men, an ascended being. There you go. As the kingdom reached the zenith of its power, Azir announced he would undertake the Ascension ritual, that the time was right for him to take his place alongside Nasus and Renekton and their glorious forebears. Many questioned this decision. The Ascension ritual was highly dangerous and intended only for those near the end of their lives, those who had devoted their lives to Shurima and whose service was to be honored with Ascension. It was for the Sun Priest to decree who would be blessed with Ascension, not the hubris of an emperor to bestow it upon himself. He does it anyway. Azir would not be dissuaded from his rash course of action, for his arrogance had grown along with his empire, and he ordered them to comply on pain of death. Wow. So he basically threatened them, if you don't do this, I'm just going to kill you. But then they should have been like, if you kill us, then how are you going to ascend? You know what I mean? I don't know. Wow. And his biography is clearly much longer because we're actually like getting a big story of the Ascended and everything in it. And we're also getting like Xerath's biography a little bit here too. The day of the ritual finally came, and Azir marched toward the days of Ascension, flanked by thousands of his warriors and tens of thousands of his subjects. The brothers Renekton and Nasus were absent, having been dispatched by Xerath to deal with an emergent threat, but still Azir would not turn from what he saw as his great destiny. He climbed to the great golden disc atop the temple at the heart of the city, and in the moments before the Sun Priest began the ritual, he turned to Xerath and finally freed him. and not just him, but all slaves. Oh, wow. And his like final moment, because he might have been like, I have no idea what's going to happen after this. I could die, or I might like totally be different in the mind. So I'm going to do this now. Zareth was stunned into speechlessness, but Azir was not yet done. He embraced Zareth and named him his eternal brother, as he had promised he would all those years ago. Azir turned as the priest began the ritual to bring down the awesome power of the sun. Azir was unaware that Zareth had studied more than just history and philosophy in his quest for knowledge. He had learned the dark arts of sorcery, all the while nursing a desire for freedom that had grown like a cancer into a burning hatred. Oh, so this whole time, he had actually a burning hatred in his heart. At the height of the ritual, the former slave unleashed his powers, and Azir was blasted from his place on the dais. Without the protection of the runic circle, Azir was consumed by the sun's fire as Zareth took his place. The light filled Zareth with power, and he roared as his mortal body began to transform. Wow, here's the betrayal. Crazy. Okay. But the magic of the ritual was not intended for Zareth, and such awesomely powerful celestial energies could not be diverted without dire consequence. The power of the Ascension ritual exploded outward, devastating Shurima and laying waste to the city. Its people burned to ash, and its towering palaces fell to ruin as the desert sands rose up to swallow the city. The sun disk sank from the sky, and what had taken centuries to build was brought to ruin in an instant by one man's ambition and another's misplaced hate. Misplaced hate, for sure. All that remained of Azir's city were sunken ruins and echoes of its people's screams on the night winds. Wow. Okay, we need like a full-on cinematic of this. You know, I feel like, why don't we have like a full cinematic of all of these events, like right here? Azir saw none of this. For him, all was nothingness. His last memories were of pain and fire. He knew nothing of what befell him atop the temple, nor what became of his empire. He remained lost in timeless oblivion until, thousands of years after Shurima's doom, the blood of his last descendant spilled onto the temple ruins and resurrected him. Azir was reborn, but was yet incomplete, his body little more than animate dust given form, held together by the last vestiges of his indomitable will. Wow, that's very cool. His will essentially holding him together here. Gradually resuming his corporeal form, Azir stumbled through the ruins and came across the corpse of a woman with a treacherous knife wound in her back. He did not know her, but saw in her features the distant echo of his bloodline. Okay, now wait, who is this here exactly? All thoughts of empires and power were forgotten as he lifted this daughter of Shurima and bore her to what had once been the oasis of the dawn. The oasis was empty and dry, but with every step Azir took, clear water began filling the rocky basin. Azir immersed the woman's body in restorative powers of the waters of the oasis, and as blood washed away, only a faint scar remained where the blade had pierced her. Who is this? I'm probably forgetting. Is it like it's something to do with Cassiopeia, I feel like? And with the act of selflessness, Azir was lifted up in a column of fire as the magic of Shurima renewed him, remaking him as the ascended being he was meant to become. The sun's immortal radiance poured into him, crafting his magnificent, hawk-armored form and granting him the power to command the very sand itself. Azir lifted his arms, and his ruined city shrugged off the dust of centuries spent beneath the desert to rise anew. The sun disk lifted into the sky once more, and healing waters flowed between temples, heaving themselves back into the light at the Emperor's command. Wow, okay, wait a minute. I didn't know this all happened here. I thought it was still like in ruins, basically. But he's now resurrected, and everything's like kind of I mean, the people aren't back, but the city or whatever is back. Azir climbed the steps of the newly risen Sun Temple, weaving the desert winds to recreate the city's last moments. Ghosts formed of sand relived his city's last moments from long ago, and Azir watched in horror as Zareth's treachery unfolded. He wept as he saw his family murdered, his empire fall, and his power stolen, only now, millennia too late, did he finally understand the depths of hatred harbored by his former friend and ally. With the power and presence of an ascended being, Azir sensed Zareth somewhere abroad in the world and summoned an army of sand warriors to march alongside their reborn emperor. As the sun blazed from the golden disk above him, Azir swore a mighty oath, "I will reclaim my lands and take back what was mine." Wow, okay, what a crazy biography for this guy. Man, it's a massive one. It's really, really big. It's, I mean, I understood all of it. I get where Zareth was coming from, I guess, a little bit. But I also like kind of not, because we're not getting like fine details there. But I would have assumed like, Zareth, man, you're in such a great position. Why would you do that? You know, like Azir loved you, bro. And like, you just betrayed him like that. Like, he could have been an ascended and everything would have been great. You guys could have lived life and it could have been, I don't know. It might have been great. Maybe he really just truly was unhappy and hated Azir. So there's a lot going on here with this biography. I'm kind of curious. Obviously, we're not going to be reacting to them today, but I'm kind of curious when this all happens, where does Nasus and Renekton go? A lot of cool stuff that we learned about Azir and Xerath, which is really cool because we kind of got two birds with one stone with this biography here. All right, so the story is called Arisen. Let's go ahead and get into it. Azir walked the gold-paved emperor's way. The immense statues of Shurima's earliest rulers, his ancestors, watched his progress. The soft shadowy light of pre-dawn seeped through his city. The brightest stars still shone overhead, though they would soon be snuffed out by the rising sun. The night sky was not as Azir remembered it. The stars and the constellations were misaligned. Millennia had passed, right? Time had passed. Those things move. With every step, Azir's heavy staff of office struck a lonely note, echoing through the capital's empty streets. When he last had walked this path, an honor guard of 10,000 elite warriors had marched in his wake, and the cheers of the crowd had shaken the city. It was to have been his moment of glory, yet it had been stolen from him. Now it was a city of ghosts. What had become of his people? With an imperious gesture, Azir commanded the sands beside the roadway to rise, creating living statues. This was a vision of the past, the echoes of Shurima given form. The sand figures looked forward, heads tilted toward the immense sun disk hanging above the dais of ascension half a league ahead. It hung there still, declaring the glory and power of Azir's empire, though no one remained to see it. Yeah, it's not really an empire anymore if you don't have, like, an empire to be the head of, right? The daughter of Shurima who awakened him, she who bore his lineage was gone. He sensed her out in the desert, blood bound them together. As Azir walked the emperor's way, the sand echoes of his people pointed up at the sun disk, their joyful expressions turning to horror. Mouths opened wide in silent screams, they turned to run, stumbling and falling. Azir watched this all in despairing silence, bearing witness to the last moments of his people. So I guess the lady just leaves, huh? Anyways, they were obliterated by a wave of unseen energy, reduced to dust and cast to the winds. What had gone wrong with his ascension to unleash this catastrophe? Azir's focus narrowed. His march became more resolute. He reached the base of the stairs of ascension and began to climb, taking them 5 at a time. Only his most trusted soldiers, the priesthood, and those of the royal bloodline were allowed to step foot upon the stairs. Oh, is this going to be him seeing Xerath betray him? Sand versions of these most favored subjects lined his path, faces upturned, grimacing and wailing in silence before they were swept away by the winds. He ran, taking the steps faster than any man could, talons digging into the stonework, carving furrows where they were caught. Sand figures rose and were then destroyed to either side of him as he climbed. He reached the top. Here he saw the final circle of onlookers, his closest aides, his advisors, the high priest, his family. Azir dropped to his knees. His family was before him, rendered in perfect heartbreaking detail. Man, this would suck to see. His wife, heavy with child, his shy daughter clutching his wife's hands, his son standing tall on the brink of becoming a man. In horror, Azir saw their expressions change. Though he knew what was to come, he could not look away. His daughter hid her face in the folds of his wife's dress. His son reached for his sword, shouting in defiance. His wife, her eyes widened, sorrow and despair writ within. Wow, that sucks. That's a really devastating thing to see. The unseen event blasted them to nothingness. It was too much, but no tears welled in Azir's eyes. His ascended form rendered that simple act of grief forever lost to him. With a heavy heart, he pushed himself to his feet. The question remained as to how his bloodline survived, for it most assuredly had. The final echo awaited. He advanced, halting one step below the dais, and watched as it all played out before him, reenacted in the sand. He saw himself, in his mortal form, rise up into the air beneath the sun disk, arms wide and back arched. He remembered this moment. The power coursed through him, infusing his being, filling him with its divine strength. A newcomer formed in the sand, his trusted bondsman, his magus, Xerath. His friend uttered a silent word. Azir watched himself shatter like glass, exploding into motes of sand. Xerath, breathed Azir. The traitor's expression was unknowable, but Azir could see nothing but the face of a murderer. Where did such hate come from? Azir had never been aware of it. The sand image of Xerath rose higher into the air as the sun disk's energies focused into his being. A cadre of elite guards rushed towards him, but they were all far too late. The brutal shockwave of the sand flared out, and disintegrating the final moment of Shurima, Azir stood alone among the dying echoes of his past. This is what killed his people. Azir turned away just as the first rays of the new dawn struck the sun disk overhead. He'd seen enough. The sand image of the transformed Xerath collapsed behind him. The dawn sun reflected blindingly off Azir's flawless golden armor. In that instant, he knew that the traitor still lived. He sensed the Magus' essence in the air that he breathed. Azir lifted a hand, and an army of his elite warriors rose from the sands at the base of the stairs of ascension. Xerath, he said, his voice tinged with rage, your crimes will not go unpunished. Okay, so this was a very just short and sweet story, basically of kind of like the last paragraph or two of the biography. But essentially, we're seeing his ascended powers. He's like able to like reenact the last moments of the Empire. I don't know if he's just able to do that because of the sands and like he has this magic with the sands and everything. But yeah, and he finds out Xerath is the one that betrayed him, and now he is going to get his revenge for killing his entire family. But we also have the heir of Azir, which I know I was told this, or I learned it a long time ago when we were first diving into League lore. So I'm not exactly sure who it is, but I believe it's another champion. So I could also totally be wrong on that. But well, I'm sure we'll find out in the fandom or something later, right? So anyways, cool stuff here. He wants to get his revenge on Xerath. He is now fully ascended, but he has no empire to have anymore. So he's no longer an emperor, really. All right, I was going to do the Azir gameplay spotlight, but it's 9 years old, and the format of the video was just super, super old. So I figured let's just take a look at the abilities page here. So interesting enough, I think this might be the first high difficulty champ we've taken a look at. I mean, using this page and everything. But anyways, let's take a look. So his passive is Shurima's Legacy. Azir can summon the Disc of the Sun from the ruins of allied or enemy turrets. Wait, what? That's a passive that he can do? Okay. So is it useful for him to be near turrets most of the time? I wonder. What does that actually do for him? Okay. Conquering Sands is his Q. Azir sends all sand soldiers towards a location. Sand soldiers deal magic damage to enemies they pass through and apply a slow for 1 second. Okay, let me see the ability here. So he just like throws a sand soldier through a person or through an enemy. Okay, and they apply slow, so that's pretty cool. And then Arise. Azir summons a sand soldier to attack nearby targets for him, replacing his basic attack against targets within the soldier's range. Their attacks deal magic damage to enemies in a line. Arise also passively grants attack speed to Azir and his sand soldiers. Okay, so I don't know if we have too many other champs we've reacted to that can like summon another person to help them fight, as far as I'm aware. I'm sure there's some champion that I just totally haven't looked at yet. And how many can he get out at once? So I see in the ability here, we get 2 out at once, it looks like. That's probably the most, I would imagine. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, again, it goes in line with like what we read in the biography and the story. Obviously, we see him like bring out these soldiers after he's risen. All right, very nice. What's his E ability? Shifting Sands. Azir shields himself briefly and dashes to one of his sand soldiers, damaging enemies. If he hits an enemy champion, he instantly readies a new sand soldier for deployment and halts his dash. Okay, so you can like, you get a shield and then you can dash to one of your soldiers. It's useful in terms of like as a barrier, and then it's also useful in terms of like getting you into a different location faster, which is cool. So a movement ability / shield ability, very good. He needed something like that, I guess. And then his ultimate here is Emperor's Divide. Azir summons a wall of soldiers which charge forward, knocking back and damaging enemies. He definitely does not seem, just based on these abilities here, they seem very weird / different. So the difficulty is high, and like the ultimate here looks cool. I don't know how much it actually does. It says it knocks back and damages enemies. It doesn't slow them or anything, but it just knocks them back, which is obviously pretty good too. And you could actually use it to probably like get away if you needed to, since it does knock them back and everything like that. I don't know. Azir feels kind of weird to me. Like based on these abilities, I don't see the cohesiveness. Maybe if I actually watched the gameplay video or something, I'd see the cohesiveness of it. And also there's not an explanation of what the sun disc does for Azir here. I assume it just becomes its own little turret for a little while or something, and it can help you in like fights if you fight near it maybe. Or does it give you like a buff or something? Interesting. All right, yeah, I mean, based on these abilities here, I probably would not try Azir, especially as a newbie or as a newcomer to the game. Azir doesn't seem very easy to use straight off the bat. It's somebody that seems like you would need to like learn. I don't even know what he really plays like. He seems interesting. I don't exactly know how good these abilities are, but you guys let me know in the comments if anybody plays Azir. All right, so we're going to actually watch a few cinematics for Azir, which is kind of cool. I did watch these way back when I first started getting into League lore, but now that we've kind of got a little familiarity with Azir and Shurima a bit, we're going to watch the Descent into the Tomb cinematic and the other one, I forget what that one's called, back to back here, and we'll just get an idea of like more of Shurima stuff and Azir. So the first one's called Descent into the Tomb, and we'll start off with this one.
Fall of Shurima was nothing.
Ooh, the Riot Games logo.
Of its
Old school.
from the grave. In a market on the edge of the desert, a stranger appears. Cassiopeia. A
Okay,
noble
Cassiopeia.
woman of Noxus, looking to hire a guide to take her to the fabled Lost City. But not just any guide. She hires the owner of a legendary ancient blade, the mercenary.
Oh,
Sivir.
Okay.
Sivir gathers her band of sellswords, and they set out into the desert.
Interesting style here of cinematic.
Of Shurima.
I kind of like it, but I also kind of wish we just saw it instead of got it narrated to us.
Beneath the broiling sun, a scout spots towers jutting from the dunes,
Okay.
and a stairway leading underground. They climb down into the darkness. Ancient treasures gleam in the torchlight. Even Sivir is
So
astonished.
Sivir
at the
and
grandeur of the
Cassiopeia are
ruins.
exploring a tomb, looking for
Her men
Shurima.
head deeper in, only to stumble into traps and be eviscerated.
Man, who put these traps here?
Sivir is
Like, actually,
stunned
though.
with horror, but Cassiopeia does not flinch.
Okay, Cassiopeia
She
not
sees
scared.
Only the statue of a huge serpent silently guarding the door to the tomb of the emperors.
The tomb of the
Smiles.
emperors. Okay.
The ancient weapon is a key.
Oh, okay.
Cassiopeia betrays Sivir. She picks up
To take the
Sivir's
key,
blade,
right?
puts it into the lock. The Guardian's curse is triggered.
Okay.
The stone serpent comes
Oh, and this is how
alive
Cassiopeia
and
becomes how she is,
Cassiopeia
isn't it?
in its jaws. The venom sears her flesh.
That's how she's like a Medusa type character or a snake or whatever.
Door opens. Renekton emerges. The
Renekton
brother
comes out.
loved and locked away, twisted beyond
The brother
his
I
sin.
loved and locked away. Oh, right. Nasus locked him away.
Architect of his torment.
Oh, and Sheriff comes out.
My failure is complete.
So wait, okay, Nasus. I know Renekton became crazy or something, if I recall.
Himself away. Lifeblood flooding
How did they get locked away? How did both of them get locked away, though? I forget.
succumbs to darkness.
Okay.
Behold Shurima's legacy.
No. We didn't get any Azir in there. Maybe it's in the second one, but I think the second one, yeah, I think the second one mentions Azir. So let's go take a look at that one. But still, this is good to give me like an insight into, even if it's like Azir adjacent, right? Like I think this is good stuff to learn, and it'll help me understand Azir even better. So let's do the next one. All right, next one is Rise of the Ascended. Let's do it. So, I mean, Ascended. I mean, that's Azir. Let's give it a chance here and see what we get. So that's how we see Cassiopeia become a snake, I guess, yeah?
Betrayed and bleeding, something incredible occurs.
Okay.
For though she does not know it, Sivir is the last in the bloodline
Sivir is the last, so that's who we see in the biography and story. It's Sivir. Okay.
of Azir, Shurima's lost emperor.
Okay.
And as her blood soaks into the ancient sand,
And that's
a
how
deep
he
magic
becomes awakened.
spawns to
Aha! Because of Cassiopeia betraying her, the blood
First
spilling.
Azir's mind, then his body, snatched back from oblivion to be reborn.
Okay, but why are him and Sivir not like together anymore? I feel like they would want to stick together.
Sivir wonders at her face. He sees himself in this daughter of
He sees
Shurima.
himself.
In that moment, he has no thought of empires or rituals. He only knows she needs his help.
He helps her,
must
right? I
take
don't
her
think
to
it
the
said.
oasis of the dawn,
Okay.
the mother of life. He smells the waters.
Smelly water?
life. He prays he's in time.
Well, obviously she gets saved.
He does not dream that he, Shurima's greatest emperor, can at long last earn his ascension and bring back his broken city.
Okay.
He dares not dream that if he can save her, Azir can save them all.
Oh, whoa. Was this kind of like a reveal for Sivir, or what? Maybe not necessarily. Oh, well, clearly she wakes up and is healed. What's with the... Okay, the sun is waking up. That's Sivir or what? No, that's Azir. What am I saying? That's Sivir. Okay, we're seeing him, yeah. Oh geez, flashbang. There he is. There's Sivir. Oh, she looks cool. Dang, those eyes though. That's cool. Yeah, like I would be like, yo, you're my bloodline. I would want to protect Sivir at all costs if I was Azir. Have her by my side and everything, and rebuild. Cool. Yeah, this is a pretty epic, like, two-parter cinematic to give you like the overall connection of after the fall of Shurima and how like Nasus and Renekton and all them come back, and Sheriff and all that. You know, I like complained a little bit that I wish we could have had like a real cinematic there, but I thought this was perfect. Like if this came out back whenever it came out, I would have been excited to see this then anyways in this format. I think they did a really good job like storytelling, and it was Nasus retelling the story too, which was cool. All right, now we have the reveal of Azir in Legends of Runeterra. It's 2 minutes long. Let's give it a look. Azir awakens his empire. Okay, so he's a 3-mana 1/5. Really? Just a 1/5? When allies attack, summon an attacking sand soldier, and then level up when you've summoned 10 units. Cool. Yeah, he's all about amassing an army of sand soldiers, clearly. Yeah, they just deal 1. There are 1/1s. They have ephemeral, so does that mean they go through... They can only be blocked by other ephemeral people? I wonder. Desert's Wrath. As of recording of this video, I actually know we heard some like bad news about Legends of Runeterra. They're like kind of downsizing a little bit and like refocusing it. This is like during the Riot layoffs currently in 2024, so that's kind of what's going on right now. Legends of Runeterra isn't going anywhere, but that was a badass level up animation. Yeah, Legends of Runeterra isn't going anywhere, but because I really don't want it to, because we get so much lore from it in general. But yeah, they're just like refocusing and stuff. Okay, so he is now a 2/6. When allies attack, summon an attacking soldier, and then when you summon an ally, give us both +1 attack this round. And then level up if you've restored the Sun Disc. Wait, he can level up again? There's another level up for Azir? Is that what I'm seeing? And how do you restore the Sun Disc?
Your Emperor commands.
Yeah, okay, so he's just gonna make a soldier army and give them a crap ton of attack. Pretty cool, pretty cool.
Come,
oh.
my destiny awaits.
Wait, so this man gets 2 level up animations. That's so cool. What other cards have 2 level ups? That's awesome. Okay, now he's a 6/6 ascended. When I level up, replace your deck with the Emperor's deck, then draw 1. When allies attack, summon an attacking Sandstone Charger. Oh man, he's just like ultimate level up here now. So you replace your whole deck with the Emperor's deck. I'm assuming it's just like all OP cards. Send a Greatness to get a powerful new deck. Yeah, it's like probably all OP cheap creatures. That's my guess. Or cheap spells and like powerful damage. But I feel like, is this one of those cases where like leveling up Azir twice in one game can be pretty difficult? But maybe like if you do level him up twice, you pretty much win. Is it like one of those types of cards? Because they do have those kinds of cards in Magic as well. Cool. So I assume he also came out with Renekton and Nasus and all them at the same time. I don't know how they do new champs in Legends of Runeterra. Do they do them like one at a time or what? Not quite sure. Cool. You guys let me know if anybody plays Legends of Runeterra. Please let me know how Azir is in game. We'll obviously get to his voice lines later. All right, next up we have the login screen for Azir. It's 3.5 minutes long. This is probably our first Shuriman champion login screen. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Forgive me if I am, but here we go. Let's listen. It's 8 years old, so it is a little bit older, Riot. They've definitely, I feel like, changed their ways a bit with their themes and whatnot. I feel like they've gone a little bit more like electronic music route sometimes in certain aspects. I want this, okay, I expect this theme to be like that of an emperor, right? That's what I'm expecting here. Or an emperor wanting revenge. So far, it's not evoking that. It's more evoking like heroic champion. Let's see if it changes. Okay. Okay. I do like the melody though. Ooh, there's like another instrument that got added in. I should have been like a... No, never mind. I was going to say I should have been like a music major or something just so I could identify what instruments are being played in this video. Because sometimes I just really don't know. And I want to. It's a beautiful melody though. But again, I thought they would like evoke this Emperor Azir, and they're not really doing that. They're going down a different path. Ooh, that's a flute, right? Coming in. Oh, okay, hold on. It's picking up some steam here. Okay. Okay, for some reason now I'm feeling it a lot more. Like, I feel like it does evoke Azir here. Like, he's risen up from the dead, right? That's kind of what I'm getting, instead of, like, the Emperor. He's risen up from the impossible to rebuild his city. His empire. We got drums throughout. Sounds like a whole band. I wonder what Riot was doing back then, like when they were hiring music producer or music artists and things like that. Like nowadays, obviously they probably have tons of like a big reputation for putting out really, really good music. So I feel like it's probably easier for them to hire. I love the build up here at the end. Yeah, that was a really good end to the song. That's actually probably my favorite part here, was the very last like 30 seconds or so. That was probably my favorite. So yeah, I mean, again, I thought it was going to be more like evoking like, I don't know, like an emperor wanting revenge kind of vibes, but it really wasn't going down that route. It was just more of somebody that's like come up from the dead and just like risen up and is like born anew again. That's kind of more what it was going down, in my opinion. It's definitely not my favorite or anything like that. I think it still was pretty darn good. I don't think Riot ever really misses, and I don't think this is a miss either. It's just definitely not something that's like I'm gonna listen to and add to the Spotify playlist later on or anything like that. I think it's just a cool login screen for Azir. I don't think they need to touch it. I don't think they need to make it any better or anything like that. I think it's just fine where it is. Some champs are just going to have better login screens, but I'm probably dogging on it a little too hard. There's probably somebody that really loves his login screen. I think it's fine. But you guys let me know in the comments what you think. Wow. Okay, folks. So I'm going to assume Azir's 9 years old. I would assume he would have more skins if he was more popular, but looks like we only have 7 skins, at least in the fandom wiki that we can see here. So that's why I'm just taking a gander that maybe he's not the most popular, at least skin wise, or I don't know. So let's take a look at these though. I'll still tell you which one my favorite is. I guess we'll just do my one favorite out of the 7 here, and then you guys let me know as well what your favorite is in the comments. Again, the original here, I think very, very good, but of course we're probably going to get some badass skins here. So let's go ahead and move on. we have Galactic Azir, the very first one, Galactic. It's a little old school. I feel like it's not as cool as like the cosmic ones that I've seen for some of the other champs. I still think it's really cool though, because I do like the dark armor on him and everything like that. But let's move on. We have Gravelord. You know why this is perfect, obviously, because he obviously brings up his sand soldiers. But look, they're totally different now. They're like ghouls or something, or they're like ghosts. I have no, or spirits maybe. Not quite sure, but they're really cool looking. I'm actually wondering if in game, if you're using the skin, it would probably make sense. They probably do, but they also look different. I wonder if for all of these skins, does the sand soldiers change? Because that would make total sense if they did. It's also giving Sauron vibes here with the helmet, which I like. Let's keep going. SKT T1. So this is honoring Easy Hoon's winning performance as Azir during the 2015 World Championship. Okay, I can't even really see. Oh, there's Azir. Oh, he actually looks badass. Let's actually view this one in 3D. I do want to see this one. Oh, it's kind of actually, I don't know how I feel about the colors. The helmet kind of looks like a Gundam helmet a little bit. The staff is cool, or the whatever we want to call it, staff, spear. And then the flowing on the arms here looks really cool. But I don't know, the color scheme's not my favorite. Okay, next up we have Warring Kingdoms. Okay, so this is kind of going with like the lunar skin vibes or whatever. It's good. Let me see. We don't have another model for. We got to view 3D on this one too. So I want to make sure. Oh yeah, this one looks way better. See, like I like the color scheme a lot better here. I do like the spear staff here as well. This right here at the top, the helmet looks really good, and then the thing around him. Why can't I think of what it is? The hood. We'll call it a hood. It's not even a hood. But you guys know what I mean. The feathers all around his neck are really cool as well. Ooh, next up we have Elderwood. This one, okay, we have actual different color schemes for him this time around. Elderwood might take the cake here. This one looks really cool. But I also really like the helmet on him again here, but it's like pointy instead of like the recent one, the Warring Kingdom one. I like this one a little bit better than Warring Kingdom, mostly because it does have different variations as well to it. Let's see what the very last one here is and see if it takes the cake over Elderwood. Oh, you know how I just said that previous one? Well, which one was it? This one, the SKT one? I was like, oh, it kind of looks like a Gundam. They went straight Gundam. Worlds 2022 in North America. That's the skin here. Yeah, I hate to say, I'm not even like a huge Gundam guy or anything like that. I know I actually have a friend that's like super into Gundams and like builds them and everything. But no, come on. I mean, this is actually perfect skin for any Gundam fans, as well as anybody that likes maybe like the project skins. I like the project skins. I think this looks really good. It's futuristic, robotic, and everything like that. Yeah, no, this is 100% my favorite skin. It doesn't even have as many color options as the Elderwood one, but I don't think it needs it, man. Honestly, oh, the red and black one always goes so good. But the blue and white, I think, is actually a little bit better in this case. Oh, and it's got gold and black behind it, and it says 22 right here on the black one. Yeah, this one's 100% the best skin. I think it's the best one they've done for Azir so far. And that was just in 2022. That was not that long ago. So I feel like Azir was kind of slacking on skins here, Riot. But I'm glad you guys came out with a really, really good one in 2022. I think this one is by far his best one. I want to hear from you guys, though. Let's see the little bit of trivia that's in here. It says Azir is the first champion to have his first ability point restricted to a single one, Arisen. Since it's required for the other two, Conquering Sands and Shifting Sands, to function. Oh, okay. And then he is also the second champion to be unable to rank up a basic ability at level 1, the first being Zillion. And then Shurima's legacy may be referencing the Egyptian solar disk god Aten, depicted as a sphere emanating rays of light, each ending with a hand, and titular god of the short-lived monotheistic religion imposed by Pharaoh Akhenaten. I don't know what this is saying right now. And then his son Tutankhamun later restored the polytheistic religion. Azir's dance references Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. I like that they did that. Do they still do that? I feel like that they run out of ideas, but it looks like a lot of these champs have a dance that will reference like a certain dance of an IRL music artist. But are they still doing that? I wonder. And then let's see, a side-by-side comparison can be seen here. If Azir summons sand soldiers and then dances, they will follow him and dance all in sync. Oh, that's pretty awesome. And then his soldiers will keep dance in Azir's stead while if the player types /dance while Azir is recalling. Okay, so his soldiers will still do it. And then if enemies cannot see Azir while he dances, his soldiers will not appear to dance to them. Okay. I didn't even think about the soldiers dancing, but that's very cool stuff. That's just his little in-game trivia. Let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the Fandom Wiki. All right, for the Fandom Wiki, we are again skipping like the early life and the catastrophic ascension because we actually learned all about this stuff from the cinematics and the biography and story and whatnot. So we're going to start off with appearance, personality, and continue on. So appearance, it says Azir is a tall male humanoid figure with features of a bird, specifically a falcon. His head is that of a golden falcon with blue eyes that shine like sapphires. He wears ancient golden Shurima armor with red ribbons hanging from his arms and a white cape on his back. I thought his eyes were gold when we saw the little cinematic, but I guess maybe they're blue they were probably just gold when he was like ascending. When he was a human, Azir was a brown-skinned man and quite stocky, with long dark hair tied in dreadlocks and various trappings of royalty. He didn't wear a shirt, but his chest and arms were adorned with all kinds of Shurima amulets and necklaces. He wore white baggy pants with red ribbons around his hips. Well, he was technically like royalty, so he was definitely like rich and he wasn't a slave like the rest. So yeah, he definitely had like some fancy stuff. Okay, so personality. Azir is a proud, determined ruler who sees potential in others. While he originally had no chance of being emperor, he befriended Xerath and saw him more than just a mere slave, but also a friend and even a brother. He wished to repay Xerath by giving him rewards and a higher status, but the societal values of Shurima prevented this. Despite this, Azir wished to become emperor to abolish slavery and give Xerath what he would have wanted, but his power led to him becoming hubristic, which was Azir's biggest weakness and one of the causes of Shurima's downfall. Yeah, I guess like his seeing potential in others was a strength, but also a weakness, I guess, right? While he did have selfless intentions for the Empire, his arrogance prevented him from communicating his goals with Xerath and seeing when he was being manipulated, and his short-sightedness towards the consequences of his actions caused Xerath's resentment to grow to the point where by the time he announced his plan, it was too late, and Xerath had already made his decision to betray him. Yeah, honestly, communication. Listen, the goal of like any relationship, whether it be a friend, you know, a partner, a loved one, whatever, it's communication. People can't read your mind, you know what I'm saying? Since his resurrection, Azir now wishes to rebuild the Empire and return Shurima to its former glory is a very noble gesture, calling upon the help of his allies in order to do so. Yeah, I kind of want to see that actually happen. I want this lore pushed a little bit, but again, this might be saved for the MMO. You know, like they might bring Shurima fully to glory when the MMO comes out, or I could totally see it being like a big DLC for the MMO or something. However, Azir has shown quite a noble and generous side, since one of the things he always wanted to do after becoming emperor was to abolish slavery and help the poor. He has shown a kinder side of him when he saved Sivir's life. Yeah, I think he is somebody that does care about others. And like I said, he does see potential in other people and he wants to help people. He wanted to abolish slavery. So I think overall the dude's good, but he definitely feels betrayed and wants his revenge, right? Okay, so abilities. We know his abilities a little bit, but let's get into it. So Ascended. Azir is an Ascended, also known as God Warriors or Sunborn. The Ascended are mortals that were empowered by the Sun Disk into immensely powerful demigods. Each Ascended has unique powers depending on the individual they were prior to the Ascension. So he has immortality. The Ascended do not age and do not need to eat or sleep. Oh, no eating or sleeping. Barring beings of similar power, the Ascended cannot be killed. And then Sand Magic. Yeah, so I guess, can he be killed at all? Do we know? I know it says in here that he cannot be killed, but I feel like somebody like Zoe or Aurelian Soul somehow would be able to like actually kill Ascended, right? And then we have Sand Magic. Azir can control the sands of the Shurima Desert to his desires, creating almost anything that he desires, like massive buildings and cities around him. Yeah, he doesn't even have to do just soldiers. Like, he used the Sand Magic to, like, re-see what happened when he died and everything. Sand Soldiers. Azir mainly uses his power over the sand to create his mighty Sand Soldiers, powerful constructs that serve as his personal army. The Sand Soldiers are completely under his control, are far more powerful than a normal human, and don't need neither sleep nor food, right? All right, let's get into the relations. This is always the exciting part as well. Okay, we do know the relationship with Xerath here. There isn't anything new we really need to read. Let's read Ezreal. Given Ezreal's exploration of the Shurima Desert and robbing of artifacts from its tombs, it's likely Azir won't be entirely fond of him. I love that somebody added that. Well, yeah, that makes sense. All right, Sivir. Azir dislikes Sivir's grave robbing, but does not resent her. She is family after all, and saving her from Cassiopeia's backstabbing meant everything at the time of his revival. He would hold his hatred for Cassiopeia for almost ending his bloodline forever. Okay, so yeah, I guess he doesn't truly like Cassiopeia. Like I was saying when we were watching the cinematic earlier, I would think he would want to protect Sivir at all costs. It's his bloodline. I know we haven't reacted to Sivir yet, but I kind of am curious how she is still part of his bloodline, right? After it seemed like everybody died during the Ascension. All right, and then Nasus and Renekton. When he was young, Azir was taught ancient knowledge from Nasus and combat from Renekton. The Ascended Brothers' teachings will prove useful for the trials ahead. Azir is disappointed that a mighty warrior such as Renekton had been reduced to a rabid beast after being tortured beyond insanity for imprisoning himself with Xerath. Okay, so that's what happened. I couldn't recall what happened there. But so Renekton trapped himself inside with Xerath in that tomb. But now they're both out because of what Cassiopeia did. And then it says, on the other hand, Nasus might be the only remaining Ascended that can help the Emperor. Azir deeply respects Nasus, though the Curator looks down on him for his arrogance and for what his hubris did to Shurima. The Curator? Who is the Curator? And also, Nasus has been alive like this whole time while Azir was gone, right? So I feel like Nasus should be also like more knowledgeable than anything than all of them. All right, cool. We learned a little bit of new info, not too much here, but that was still some cool info about like Nasus and Renekton there. Let's see if we missed anything in this list here. I think we covered all of this actually. I don't know if we watched this Empires of the Ascended, or there's a Fall of the Empire comic. Okay, and then there's another short story called Water and Shade to You. But yeah, cool. You guys will have to let me know if I should take a look at these as well, maybe in the future. All right, there's a crap ton. Oh my God, there's a crap ton of trivia. We'll have to see what this 1 through 14 is down here. Oh, it's a Q&A with the Creative Riot narrative team. Okay, cool. So there's going to be a lot of info down here, actually. All right, so trivia. Based on the timeline in Realms of Runeterra and his lore, Azir is between 3,000 and 3,050 years old. As suggested by Talia's quote, close to the ground, the sparrow flies faster than the falcon. His ascended form resembles that of a falcon. Okay, so that's just confirmation. Azir's mother was born in Vikara. Xerath later destroyed the city during the events of Bloodline. And then Azir originally intended to destroy Saikal, Xerath's birthplace, for revenge, but was convinced not to, as he was reminded that it would make him the same thing as what Xerath has become. True. That's the bigger thing to do. Good stuff. Azir knows a lot of secrets about Xerath's past that are only known to the two. That would make sense. They grew up together. As stated by Riot's Opelli in Azir's Q&A thread, Azir was a benevolent leader, a kind dictator devoted to his people's well-being and prosperity. Though he got a little ahead of himself with the overenthusiastic Ascension ritual, even that was done with good intentions, for he saw Ascension as a means to have Shurima grow and influence the entire world. And that's how I feel, again, about Azir as well. I think he was probably a great leader and was trying to do good for his people. But yeah, things didn't turn out. This desire was never derived from conquest, as Azir truly believed Shurima was the pinnacle of civilization and could only continue to prosper. Azir put off abolishing slavery because doing so in a short period of time would likely lead to massive protests and possibly a coup. True. And as power went to his head, however, he forgot that others also had worthwhile ideas. Ah, that'll do it. Azir currently wishes for the other city-states to join his empire so that they may benefit from Shurima's culture and way of life. This might prove difficult after being trapped in limbo for millennia, given the likes of Zaun are the antithesis to Shurima. So for now, Azir's motivation is to restore Shurima's glory. Right, that is his whole motivation, and again, I feel like that might be something they explore a little bit more in the MMO or something. Back in the Empire's heyday, Azir was popular with the ladies. This charisma might help him restore his people to greatness. Who added this? Who added that Azir was popular with the ladies? Come on. Okay, I don't think we're going to read the full Q&A because it looks like people kind of summarized them here. But I'm glad that they did like a little Q&A with the narrative team. And then it says, as stated by Gem Lone Wingy Lim in Azir's Q&A thread, Azir's gauntlets have ribbon-like tassels to emphasize his regal status and to resemble embroidered robes, which in turn represent feathers, cementing the bird-like appearance. Xerath's ascended power was stolen from Azir, but manifests in the wrong way due to it not being intended for him. Right. Okay, so I'm skimming a little bit of the Q&A just to see some of the answers. So like right here is, yeah, his main motivation is to rebuild Shurima. I see where the ladies thing comes in. It looks like right down here, somebody asked if there was a Mrs. Azir, and he says it's safe to say he was popular with the ladies. And then also right here it says, will he rebuild Shurima by force or peacefully? It says he wishes to do it peacefully, but he's not afraid of using force. It will only happen if he's forced his hand. So some cool answers here. Azir sleep in bed or a nest? If it's a nest, what's it made of? And then I don't think he sleeps at all because, you know, he's an ascended. So very cool. But yeah, other than that, we learn a little cool stuff here from the Q&A. I wish we had these Q&As for every new champion. And I wish they were also always included in the fandom wikis, because I feel like when you can ask direct questions to the Riot narrative team, huge stuff there. So cool, guys. Let me know if there's anything else in here that I may have missed, but the fandom wiki was some good stuff again. All right, we finally made it. So we're going to be doing Azir's special interactions and Legends of Runeterra. I'm excited to get into these, so let's go ahead and do it. And yeah, these are starting to like grow on me a little bit, like because they're newer voice lines generally than the ones we have in League. So sometimes we get some new spicy stuff. You know?
Your bloodline is valuable beyond measure.
Valuable beyond measure, huh?
Sivir might not know about her bloodline, right?
So, how was your day? Did you find valuable loot?
Yeah, whatever. Loot was fine.
Oh my god, that's literally like a dad talking to his daughter. It's like that's literally that
I thought
interaction.
we might spend some time and catch up.
Oh my god, it is.
That could be as fun as that time I almost died.
Siva, I thought I might get to know my greatest granddaughter.
Right.
Don't ever call me that again.
Okay.
The Empire and its subjects can
Now, who is Sivir's mom and everything, though,
be
right?
yours to rule.
Subjects? I only look out for one person.
Ooh. I feel like Sivir's giving angsty teenager.
Accept your destiny, Siva.
You really don't know me.
That's
How
true.
good to serve the Emperor once more.
Oh.
Let it help you remember who you once were.
Right, because his mind's kind of crazy, right?
It's going to be a good day.
The young will see Shurima's second dawn.
Okay.
Come on, there's so much Shurima to see.
You're welcome.
I want to know Talia's origins, too, for sure.
I will not see Shurima bow to a tyrant.
No, you will see it rise with its emperor.
Okay, so Nasus finds Azir to be a tyrant.
I will drown Shurima in blood.
Whoa.
Not while I am still its emperor.
Now, wait a minute. I'm noticing in this artwork here, Renekton is choking Nasus. That's crazy.
The boy who plays at being emperor.
Ooh.
And the once beloved soldier, no longer fit to serve.
Ooh, these jabs are...
I will weave my own path.
No, you will serve your emperor.
Oh, okay. Azir really is a tyrant?
Tell me, what will become of Shurima?
I study history, but we must write it.
Okay.
At long last, we meet again.
This is an
wise
ally
Nasus.
arriving.
Indeed, and time has taught me even more.
Okay.
Chosen of the sun.
Oh, Leona.
You are its chosen, but I will become its master.
Ooh.
Let me hear you call our emperor's name.
Shurimans, I have waited millennia to hear your cheers.
Oh, so who's this golden ambassador?
Together,
Okay.
we are part of something more.
Together, you are children of Shurima.
We renew our pledge to Shurima.
Good. Now we turn our sights to further shores.
Okay, so wait a minute. This looks like Azir's already been like working a little bit and bringing back people for Shurima and everything, and like bringing it back to its full glory, or like he's working towards it, and so much so that he's actually looking towards further shores now.
Emperor, you taught me to command the sands.
I bestow the
Okay.
desert's power to the faithful.
Sandcrafter.
I'd
Oh,
raise 1,000 soldiers to fight for Shurima.
so he can give other people the
Empires
sand
are
power.
built on ambition and servitude.
To the streets. Show them the
Inspiring
might of
Marshal.
our army.
Shows of power excite the people and quell our enemies.
Okay.
Shurimans, see what I see, carry it with you.
Emperor, I am honored.
Yeah. Okay.
You would
Azir's
give me the
got a
allegiance of
pretty
your
big
city.
gathering already.
You have given us something to believe in.
Wow.
Demacia's prince, Shurima's emperor.
An alliance of steel and sand, Azir.
Oh, look at that. Okay. We have an alliance. That wasn't mentioned anywhere in like the fandom wiki or anything. There's an alliance between Demacia and Shurima. At least between the leaders. Maybe like the people don't know that yet, but
in glory.
Your legend will never be forgotten.
Time has not been kind
buried
to
sun
you.
disk.
You have not been forgotten.
It's a landmark card.
You will
Interesting.
shine over an empire reborn. My name echoes through every rock, every canyon. The cliffs themselves are my barracks.
I mean, he's been gone for such a
beast.
long time, though, that I feel like his name, I mean, maybe it's not forgotten, but like, I feel like maybe some people have actually forgotten it, no? I have no idea,
They
though.
will all fight for me.
Man
The
or
drumming
beast.
of hooves fills the ravine. The ground shudders, the beasts come.
Azir's giving off a little bit Tyrant vibes, for sure. He seems like he wants to actually conquer some of the other... I don't know, I guess maybe not, because he did ally with Demacia, but I feel like he does want to, like, conquer more land, for sure.
Stand
He's giving off that
down.
vibe. Stand down
Glorious
to the Sandstorm.
sacrifice.
Oh, this is ally dying.
In Shurima's name. A true leader does not hesitate.
That's true.
Come, we have an empire to build. Look upon our work. Look what we have built. They cheer our name. Our legacy is eternal.
Okay. His legacy's eternal.
Civilizations always rise
Should have
and
never
fall.
questioned it.
We return to the sands for now.
For now.
Power beyond measure. Am I cool now?
You'll never be cool.
Okay, I 100% love the interactions between these two out of over like Nasus and Renekton and all them. This is just great. They really solidified like the grandfather or father figure to like the granddaughter like connection. It's really funny.
Siva, we can rule for all eternity.
It's like two different
That's an
generations.
eternity too long.
Yeah, it's like two different generations trying to like understand each other, and it's not working.
We met as children, now as gods.
Even as a child, your ambitions were those of a god.
Ooh, I don't know if that's a good
You
thing or
would
a bad
face
thing
me.
though.
I once thought you wise.
Wise enough to know your ambition must be stopped.
At last,
I
you
like
serve
I like
my,
Nasus's demeanor.
my side. Chaos serves no one.
And Renekton's just crazy.
God Emperor Azir, your power eclipses all.
The sun disk is restored to its splendor.
Okay.
God Emperor, your will is ours to obey.
As with all Shurima,
I'm sure he loves the
I
just
am
people like listening to
The
him.
Emperor's will.
teach our enemies the power of Shurima.
My Emperor, our day has finally
I
come.
like this Eternal Gladiator with
As
the lion.
was promised, my champion. Proud warriors, bear my name into battle.
In the name of our Emperor, Azir!
Wow. Okay. I had no idea that he fully like had a
Awakens
full
ancient
armory
power.
and like
With
civilization
Shurima,
back again.
We too are awakened.
Okay.
Go forth, make them kneel.
They
Wow.
will pay their respects or die.
So is there like any inner politics within the surrounding Shurima area with Azir and the Sun Disk
I
being
will
back?
reclaim what is mine.
Do you know what I mean? Like in the sands or anything?
Raise our
Like other
stronghold. It
civilizations
is time.
fighting back? I don't
You
know.
will kneel to your God Emperor.
Yee, I don't like the way he says
Only
that.
to worship me or perish.
Yeah, I don't like the way he says that either.
I have waited millennia already.
Well, that's true.
Dust beneath my heel. Pay homage to me. You resist, but you have witnessed glory.
Witness
You will not
glory,
stop
really?
Shurima's golden age.
Shurima's golden
The
age.
glory of Shurima's past will be brought to light.
Don't worry, I've been unearthing the past for years.
Okay, I like Sivir's voice lines.
Tombs.
Just 'cause
Your
she, like,
throne awaits.
She doesn't listen to Azir, bro.
My empire's the desert, and all its riches are mine.
Millennia ago, Shurima spanned the entire continent.
Sure, Emperor.
Oh, okay. Sivir's voice lines are hilarious, of
We've met
course.
before, Siva, in another life.
In another
Tell
life.
that Sivir hi when I send you back there.
Oh, that was a threat. That was a interesting line here. If there's more to this one where he says we've met in another life, let me know.
The world will bow to its emperor.
We moved on, Azir. Maybe you should too.
Oh, I feel like that's actually the ultimate comeback because he's like set in his old ways and set in being an emperor and all this. And Talia's like, it's been a millennia, bro. Let's just, let's move on.
Fear not, Shurima. You will stand tall again.
It wasn't your absence that made us fear, Azir. I know what you have planned for the Weavers.
What are a few lives to an empire?
For the Weavers. Okay, because she's like a Weaver, right? Wait, what does he have planned for the Weavers? What are a few lives to an empire? What is this? Okay.
Fear not, Shurima.
Does he want to like imprison Weavers and like use them for his own will or something?
Has returned.
Huh.
Perhaps the past should stay buried.
Okay, I'm really getting the like Azir is a boomer and he's set in his boomer ways and everybody's like, dude, come on. You're totally wrong. Let's move on. We're in a new world now. It's been a millennia and all of your policies and ideas are totally like out of date, I feel like.
Where I tread, victory follows.
Okay.
Your footsteps shape the future.
Okay.
No escape.
All right, so that does it for Azir's Legends of Runeterra special interactions. These were very good. So we're finally hearing Azir speaking. This is my first time actually fully hearing his voice and everything. So yeah, I mean, obviously his goal is most of his voice lines. He's very much so just like trying to build his empire. He's built up an army. It looks like he has lots of followers already, according to the interactions we've gotten. He has an interesting relationship with Nasus. I feel like they're definitely not friends, but they're definitely not like exactly enemies either. I feel like they're neutral. Yeah, I think Nasus doesn't necessarily like Azir whatsoever, but he also is like, I mean, I don't know, what can Nasus really do about it, right? And then Renekton's just lost his mind, so he's kind of just, I don't know. Him and Azir probably don't get along either. And then Azir and Talia have a little bit of an interesting relationship. I didn't think it was that bad until we heard the line from Talia about what he's doing with the Weavers. So I guess if you guys can give me more insight about possibly what he's doing with the Weavers, my guess is he's imprisoning them or he's like making them work for him or something like that, right? But of course, the best relationship to me was him and Sivir. He's trying to be like a father or grandfather to Sivir. He's like, oh, you're my only bloodline left, right? He's trying to be like family, and Sivir's not having it. She's totally not even about it. She's like, okay, thanks for saving my life. I appreciate it, but listen, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't care about your empire. I'm just here to get rich. You're my like creepy, weird grandpa, basically, is what she was basically saying. That's the best part of these interactions, I think, was Azir and Sivir. We did learn a decent amount like from just these interactions. I don't know if we'll learn more from the League of Legends ones, but yeah, his empire is being built. There was the one voice line about moving on to further shores. And then we also learned that there's an alliance between Shurima and Demacia. Maybe it's like still early in the books, but it was like only like one voice line with him and Jarvan IV, which was, they can't just randomly put that in there and not have it mean anything, right? So I think that's pretty big deal. So my guess is maybe if like Noxus ever actually tries to go to war with Demacia or something like that, Shurima will be an ally. Maybe. We have no idea though. But cool, let's go ahead and move on to the rest of his voice lines. All right, guys, I did not do my full research beforehand, but it looks like Azir does not have any recent voice lines in the game. Like these are just the original. In terms of YouTube, we have just the original voice lines that came out for him 9 years ago. Luckily, Skin Spotlights had a video. It is 11 minutes long, so at least we have 11 minutes of it, but it is also going to be like an older Skin Spotlights video, so I have no idea how like the layout's going to be. It's probably also going to go pretty fast, but let's go ahead and get into them.
Eventually, the sands claim us all.
No subtitles. Okay, here we go.
I will open their eyes.
It's actually slow. Okay.
The unworthy have no place in history.
I wonder if we get any interactions?
See what I see.
Or if we're not going to get any.
Ancient power courses through me.
It almost sounds like his voice is a little different in Legends of
Fate
Runeterra.
is in our hands.
Okay.
They dare defy Shurima.
Okay. We got a lot of those voice lines too, where it's like defying Shurima, those kinds of things. Like he really thinks of Shurima as the best, I guess, country or whatever you want to call it.
The word.
Civilization.
I end you. Challenge Shurima. Challenge fate.
And a lot of things about like fate and destiny.
Never cross an emperor.
And emperor lines, yeah.
Shurima will brook no offense.
Will brook no offense. What does that even mean?
Behold the desert's wrath.
Okay, the desert's wrath. I do like that.
Mine is the will of Shurima.
I mean, it is the only desert area, right, in all of Runeterra, as far as I'm aware.
Overstepped. Give yourselves to Shurima.
I'm gonna move myself over here so you guys can see the subtitles a little bit.
Dare oppose me? Soon, none will question us.
Soon none will question us.
Who denies our right to rule?
Lots of
No
voice lines about
dragon
ruling.
can defeat us.
No dragon can defeat you? Aurelian
I
Soul
have no
technically is a
fear
dragon,
of
right?
Dragons.
What are these voice lines of dragons all of a sudden?
Even dragons look up to the sun.
These must be interactions with like Shyvana or something,
This
or
spider
Aurelian.
will be trampled in our march.
That's Elise, I'm guessing.
You may be large, Vilmar, but you remain an insect to me.
Okay. We are getting interactions, cool.
It is you who are in my web, spider.
I do like Elise's character
No
design.
beast will stop us. We will overcome this monster.
I don't know what he's seeing right now, or what he's interacting
a
with.
baron to an emperor?
What is a baron to an emperor? Who's a baron?
Emperors have no need of barons.
Who's a baron? Who is this he's interacting with?
I will shift as the sands.
That's a good voice line, actually.
May the sands of Shurima always be under our feet.
Okay.
I am Shurima's vision.
I wonder if he doesn't like grass.
I will be reborn.
I think you already did that.
Emperors never die.
That's
An idol of greatness.
it makes sense with his character for sure.
Nothing is beyond my reach.
I feel like, I'm gonna pause. I always talk about egos a little bit with some of these champions. While, there are some champs that for sure have the biggest ego. Azir definitely has an ego, but it's like not as pronounced as, I mean, maybe it is. It like 100% is. He really has a huge ego, but
Shuriman sands flow ever in our favor.
I don't know. Like Aurelian Soul has a bigger ego, I feel like.
Time itself serves Shurima.
Time itself serves Shurima.
The bounty of Shurima still flows.
Okay. Yeah, that's your doing for sure.
Renekton,
Oh, the voice change.
once a noble warrior, now naught but a mad beast.
Yeah. Okay.
You have forgotten yourself, Renekton.
And
You
how did
must
that
learn
happen again?
Respect, Sivir.
You must learn respect. Yeah, she definitely doesn't have any respect for you.
Accept your destiny, Sivir. Rise with Shurima, Sivir, or fall beneath it.
I think she's over it, man.
You are but a grain of sand, Zareth.
Ooh, hold on. That was actually kind of spicy. Just a grain of sand. That's all he is.
Emperors have no rivals, Zareth. Only liabilities.
Oh, I love that one too. That one's clever. Damn.
Zareth, it is time your spark went out.
Dude, these lines against Zareth
You
are
have already
insane.
failed, Zareth. You must now accept it.
Okay.
Traitor, I cast you to the winds.
Okay, yeah.
You are but my shadow, Zareth.
Man.
Zareth, the time of your judgment has come.
Yeah, these are pretty good against Zareth.
Shurima.
Okay, these are death sounds, I presume. I'm imagining the voice actors doing the death sounds in the booths. Sure, it's a little weird. Okay, these are attacks, I presume.
Shurima will once again stretch to the horizon.
Okay. He wants to take more land for sure.
Shurima is where all paths converge.
Okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing about Azir, though. You're getting to be a little one-note, Azir. You're starting all your sentences with Shurima. Bro, do you have any other interests?
The world is a desert. I am the oasis.
Oh, look at you getting clever. Okay.
So, a pigeon walks into a bar.
What? Oh. And?
For emperors, it's all about how you carry yourself.
Wait. You can't just end on so a pigeon walks into the bar. Where's the second part of that? Okay, if I'm not understanding that joke, I'm missing it. I don't know. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way they got this man doing bird noises. The laughs are kind of funny too. They're so pronounced. And slow.
The power of the sun lives in Shurima.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You need not follow, but you must witness.
This actually makes me think of, so we did have the Legends of Runeterra voice lines, and he did have like 1 or 2 with Leona. I kind of want to know Leona's overall idea of Shurima and the Sun Disc, actually.
I will return Shurima to greatness.
Okay. We know.
Those who follow me follow destiny.
Yeah. Here you go again, Azir.
My empire
Get into your
lives
rants.
in every grain of sand.
Every grain. I don't know about that.
Shurima's legacy will endure.
Okay.
We are the authors of history.
Fair enough.
I am Shurima's dawn.
All right, man. Shurima.
Everyone will know the name Shurima.
Oh my. Azir, my man.
No sacrifice is too great.
I think I'm with Sivir here. You got to move on.
We are made by our choices.
That's true. I agree.
We will unearth what has been lost.
Okay. That one actually works, and he didn't say the word Shurima.
None know the will of the desert better than I.
That's okay. Well, Nasus might.
We walk a path of radiance.
Path of Radiance. I guess the sun, yeah.
The Ascended shall guide humanity to greatness.
Is that what you're doing with the Weavers?
The slumbering world must awaken.
The slumbering world must awaken.
Shurima lives in me.
I feel like there's something going on with that voice line there.
Believe in our future.
Okay.
Loyalty will be rewarded.
Will it, though? I don't
A
know.
ruler must choose his hour.
Okay. Let's choose his hour.
There is no future without Shurima.
Oh, here we go.
Join me and be elevated.
Be elevated. That's a weird one.
All eyes look to us.
Okay.
Your emperor shall return.
Okay, you have returned.
Kill.
These are recalls,
Conquer.
probably. Oh, maybe not. Okay, now we're getting a different ability, I presume?
Soldiers, onward!
Yeah. Okay.
The order is given.
All right, so now we're getting like his
Bury
commands of his sand soldiers.
My decree is made.
My decree is made is just another way of saying the same thing.
Trust in me.
I don't know. I actually don't know if we should, Azir. Well, I guess he's doing a good job of raising Shurima back. But I don't know how he's treating his people, necessarily.
My
We don't have the
city
details.
lives on.
It does. It does, which is good. Good for you.
You cannot topple Shurima.
Well, it kind of did already once.
Rise again.
But he is ascended now, so.
Return from the sands. Shurima is never lost.
Okay.
Return.
Return? That's it?
Arise. Serve me.
Okay. I don't know if we should.
This now serves Shurima.
Like, what is Nasus actually doing? I'm very curious.
Recognize your emperor.
Is he just serving Azir since he's emperor?
This is Shuriman land.
I wonder.
I claim this for Shurima.
I kind of want to pull up a map of Runeterra and see how big Shurima is again.
Return.
I think we'll do that.
Arise.
We already heard that.
There is only Shurima. All else is but a mirage.
Okay, come on. That right there, that voice line literally sums up Azir. There is only Shurima, all else is a mirage. I love how the subtitle here says there's only Shurima, all else is butter.
What is the desert but the ashes of my enemies?
Ooh, see, okay, more of those voice lines, Azir. That's a good one, dude.
When every trace of you is lost, I will remain.
That's a good one too. Okay, as long as you don't say Shurima, man.
Shurima is eternal. Glory to Shurima.
Okay.
My soldiers march on.
Those are fine too.
I am ascended.
Okay. Yeah.
Ah!
If we didn't know that already.
The light of Shurima.
Yeah,
Trust
that's another way
in
of saying
my
what you are, I
vision.
guess. As you guys can tell, he very much so loves Shurima, only talks about Shurima. It's like if you bring Azir to a party, the only thing he's going to talk about for like an hour is Shurima, right? Like he's that one guy at a party that if you talk to him, he's going to end up getting into a rant about Shurima and you can't leave the conversation because you'll feel like it'll be awkward. And then he'll try to get you, like as you're trying to walk away, he'll be like, wait, I didn't tell you this about Shurima. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what we're getting with Azir a little bit. Not to knock his character and like his abilities and like kind of what he went through. He was betrayed and everything like that, right, when he was becoming an emperor. So I kind of get his idea of like wanting to rule, and he really thinks it's just like somebody that loves their country or loves where they come from. So I get it. It's a little much, Azir. It's a little much. When you got into the other voice lines, when you were, being a little funny with the pigeon at the bar and stuff like that, that was good. That was good. And the bird noises, I don't know about that. But yeah, the Shurima lines got a little out of hand. Okay, remember how I said I wanted to see how big Shurima was? Yeah, it's way down here. It's interesting that Shurima and Demacia have a connection or like an alliance because they're pretty far from each other. But yeah, Shurima has, when I'm hovering over it, it has this whole section. Obviously, it doesn't have Mount Targon and it doesn't have Ishtal. And then this little area over here, I guess, doesn't really say it's connected to anything. So Ishtal is obviously just like in the foresty area. Obviously, Ishtal is a little bit mysterious as well. But I wonder if Shurima will want to overtake Ishtal at some point, or if what's the connection with Shurima and Targon? I wonder if there's anything going on there. Anyways, yeah, I just really wanted to see how big Shurima was again. I needed a recap on that. So yeah, I think I'm really glad, and this is where I said again, like, I'm really glad Legends of Runeterra exists. We got a lot of interactions and lore just from the like 3-ish, 4-ish minutes we got of voice lines there, right? It's such a good thing for adding lore to the game. So I really hope Legends of Runeterra doesn't like start to go downhill because of the firings or the layoffs or whatever. And they, I know they're like restructuring Legends of Runeterra. I really hope it doesn't like move away from the lore that we're getting, because it's been very, very good for adding to these champions. Because if I didn't have the Legends of Runeterra interactions that we just watched, this I would have thought was just okay, and we didn't get too much lore-wise, but we got a lot of stuff with like Sivir and Talia and all of that, man. We learned a lot from those voice lines. This one, again, I think we just got to learn how much he loves Shurima. He's an Ascended. And it leads me to some questions, though. So, Renekton and Nasus, those two obviously seem to be the closest to him in terms of, like, being the most similar. They've also grew up in Shurima. They knew Azir when he was a child. So I really want to know if there's anything that I didn't learn throughout this whole reaction. You guys let me know in the comments. Like, what are their relationships? Now that Renekton is out, what is going on with Renekton? Is Nasus still trying to like capture Renekton again and put him back in like the little tomb, or what's going on? Because it looks like Azir and Renekton were, encased in that tomb for a while, and then they got broken out by Cassiopeia and Sivir by accident, and then Cassiopeia on purpose, and so on, right? So I really want to know if we've got any more lore there in terms of like what Nasus is doing. Azir is clearly working on Shurima and just rebuilding Shurima, whatever. But yeah, I'm almost curious what Nasus is doing, and I'm curious what Renekton's up to. My only other final thoughts are, again, I like to see where the champions could go in the future. I think Azir will continue building up Shurima, maybe amassing an army, amassing followers. I don't know if he really truly wants to go to further shores and like conquer over by Ishtal or Targon, but that would be really the only thing I could see Azir doing. I think he's just going to remain Emperor in Shurima and kind of just stay there. Maybe if, like I said earlier, since they're technically, I guess, allying with Demacia, maybe something will happen with Demacia and they'll help out. I have no idea, but pretty much I think they're going to stay put with Azir and his lore currently. I don't think they really need to do anything with him. He's not really doing anything. Like, his main goal is obviously to rebuild Shurima and make it better, and I think he's already kind of done that so far, what we've learned from like the interactions in Legends of Runeterra. He built it up. He's got it again. So Shurima's there. He's going to remain Emperor there. I don't think anybody plans on challenging Shurima, but I obviously haven't reacted to every champion. If anybody's doing it, it might be Nasus or something, and he doesn't want to see Azir reign any further. Not quite sure. But you guys let me know in the comments any other things that I may have missed about that. All right, guys, that's going to do it again for this video. Please leave a thumbs up on it. I really appreciate it, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. We have a ton of other reactions to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.